Hello, squires and fairy viewers. It's Monster Week. Another Eldarian celebration? Well, yes, but actually no. Monster Week is an annual community event created and organized by Jimmy D and Pointy Hat. You know, the person that made me want to start this whole channel, to bring together TTRPG creators on YouTube around a theme such as dragons. This year's theme being Fae. It started on the 20th of Blossomtide, April for your Earthlings, and it ends in 2 days, on the 24th. Should you want to participate, there is a link in the description. And because this year is around the Fae, I figured it would be a great occasion to bring you my first homebrew fighter subclass for D&D, and Daggerheart. As always, if you are only interested in the mechanics of the subclass, you can jump right there. Otherwise, allons-y. When Eldoria was being terraformed by architects to foster life, they used several rifts and portals across the multiverse to tap into resources and materials for their experiment. One of them opened one on a plane of existence they decided to call the Greenery, but it is now known by many other names: Fairy, Fairyland, the Fae Realm, or even the Feywild. When they took seeds to create Eldarian flora, the architects didn't think that it would make Eldaria visible to the inhabitants of the Greenery. And so, pixies, fawn, fairies of all types, and many other woodland spirits were now capable to open rifts back to this new world. Luckily enough, most of these rifts open near world trees, these enormous trees on the continent of Valonqar, infused with a mix of architect and Fae energy. I guess they acted as beacons or lighthouses for them, but I can't say for sure. Anyway, upon witnessing the many Fae incursions, the new denizens of Eldaria, mostly the elves, since they were the only ones living by the world trees, had to create a special kind of fighter to repel mischievous beings from beyond the multiverse. And thus was born the Order of the Feyblades. Their first prerogative was not to raise their weapon at the intruders, but open communications and try to persuade them to leave. But the Fae creatures, being used to using half-truths, loopholes in contracts and all, proved to be a worthy opponent. Most of the first Feyblades were tricked by the Green Travelers, so the second generation trained even more, and they also learned to harness the power of the Greenery to fight them off, and send their targets back to where they were from, which worked like a charm. Unfortunately, when the Archlich known as the Silent One ravaged the lands of the elves, most of the rifts to the Greenery were closed, and the Order of the Feyblades became a relic of an old time before the tragedy. When the dust of this massive conflict settled and the era of the Pantheon saw magic safeguard placed in most of the world, some came to realize that sneakier Faes managed to escape the Blades and wandered through Eldaria, opening smaller passages to their home world. Within days, the remaining Feyblades who didn't fall to the Lich's armies were gathered to train new generations of fighters from across the lands. Within months, they scattered and resumed the mission that once was for the ancient species. Another martial subclass for you people. In terms of mechanics, this fighter archetype is quite different from its siblings in ARM. It's all about mobility and control on the battlefield. While the Eldritch Knight taps into the arcane to mix magic and the sound of steel, and when the Battlemaster flavors your swings, the Feyblade taps into the energy of the Greenery to enchant their strikes, blinks on the battlefield, and messes with the mind of the enemies they face. Playing as a Feyblade will grant you a simple task: jump in the enemy's back lane and wreak chaos. An archer atop a tree, whack! A mind-bending caster slowing your tank or counterspelling your warlock's last spell slot, whee! A healer hidden behind a pillar, hello there! Even though I envisioned the Feyblade as a dexterity-based fighter, I would be extremely amused to hear your stories of an 8-foot-tall, half-giant fighter blinking next to a goblin caster, charming its bodyguard, and frightening the caster themselves, and have your DMs utterly shocked. Speaking of DMs, I haven't forgotten about you. Take the Knight stat block from the Monster Manual, give them a leather armor and 16 AC. Replace the leadership feature with a fairy step ability from the subclass and a couple uses of bewitching blades, and voila! In search of good plot hooks to introduce these chaotic daredevils to your tales? I've got you with these 3 ideas that you can expand upon. And obviously the full access to the subclass is in the description and for free. Oh, you think I have forgotten about the Daggerheart players? Well, I have a few cards up my sleeve for you. Take a look at the second page of the subclasses link in the description. Now go mess with your enemies, be a fairy duelist, play with them, and come back to tell me all about it. It was the Knight from Eldaria, happy to serve.